So, the Nintendo Switch 2 has had many different upgrades known as Switch 2 editions, where Nintendo takes one of their older games and charges you money to play it in 60 FPS. So I thought I would go ahead and rank each and every single one of these upgrades. Before we start, I have a few rules. Third-party upgrades and free updates from Nintendo will not be included. Second, I won't be ranking the base package. If that was the case, then Breath of the Wild would have won before the script was even done being written. I will only be ranking what each upgrade adds to the table. So with all that being said, let's jump right into it. In dead last, we have Mario Party Jamboree Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Jamboree TV. This is by far the worst Switch 2 edition for multiple reasons. Mainly because at launch, it didn't even upgrade the base game. It got no enhancements whatsoever, no boosted frame rates or resolution. Only a few months after it came out, only handheld mode got a boosted resolution to 1080p. Which is completely mitigated now that boost mode is a thing. And at that point, why even make a Nintendo Switch 2 edition? Just give Jamboree a DLC with new boards and minigames. However, it does add some new content to the game. It adds some garbage iToy level minigames. It's also $20. Same price as Silksong, Cuphead, Celeste, and Sonic Mania, by the way. Let's just move on from this embarrassment. Next we have Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. This one is really sad, because it should have been an easy slam dunk. Give the game a boosted resolution, 60 FPS, and increase the load times. While it shouldn't be a paid upgrade, it still is a nice thing for owners of the game, and a $5 upgrade fee isn't horrible. However, the AI upscaling they use is horrible, and at points, it looks even worse than the original game. The only reason it's above Jamboree TV is because of the 60 FPS. Next we have Animal Crossing New Horizons. This one just gives you 4K and mouse support, no frame rate upgrades. Sure, it's alright I guess, but other games have gotten 4K and mouse support literally for free. The only reason this is better than Xenoblade is because it actually doesn't make the game look worse. Next up is Pokemon Legends EA, and this one is much better than the other ones because it actually makes the game look better while also running better at the same time. The Switch 2 version of this game is definitely the de facto version of this game. However, at the same time, doing the bare minimum isn't going to get a game very high on the list when there's way better Switch 2 editions. Now we are at Metroid Prime 4. This one is Pokemon Legends EA again, except mouse support. However, what gives it the easy edge is its performance mode, where you can lower the resolution to 1080p in order to get 120 FPS. This is still the only first-party Switch 2 game to have 120 frame support. If only we could get a good first-party Switch game at 120 frames. Next up, we have The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This is my first upgrade that I bought, and originally, it was a real treat seeing one of my top 5 favorite games of all time run better than ever. However, looking at it now, while 4K and 60 FPS is really cool for the game, they haven't really added anything that cool. The main 2 additions are an extra save file, which is actually pretty solid. However, it also adds Zelda Notes, which is a mobile app. The only cool thing that Zelda Notes adds is extra lore. Other than that, it's really lame. Following Breath of the Wild is Tears of the Kingdom. This one adds literally the exact same things as Breath of the Wild. The only difference is that Tears of the Kingdom Zelda Notes allows you to download other people's auto builds, which is pretty cool. Other than that, everything I said about Breath of the Wild applies here. Next up is the first actually good Switch 2 edition on the list, Super Mario Bros. Wonder Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Meet Up in Bella Bella Park. Dang, this title is absolute crap. However, the actual upgrade itself is cool. Visually and performance-wise, there is little to no difference. While the game runs in 4K now, the game always looked really good, so it wasn't a necessary upgrade. There's also no 120 FPS support, so the frame rate stays the exact same as the OG game. However, they added quite a decent bit of content. They added a ton of multiplayer minigames. These minigames are surprisingly fun to play with friends. However, you can only play them with friends. No CPU battles, and while there's online support, you can't play online with randoms, and it's only limited to 6 minigames. That really sucks. While I understand no CPU games, why can't I play online with randoms? That makes literally no sense. However, the single-player content is cool. There's a ton of challenges to tackle, which are pretty fun. However, the main treat for me was the Koopaling boss battles. These were amazing, and were a huge breath of fresh air compared to the terrible Bowser Jr. bosses in the base game. In first place, and it's not even close, is the Forgotten Land Nintendo Switch 2 edition. While pretty much all of these Switch 2 editions either had huge flaws or didn't have enough new content to justify them being paid upgrades, Forgotten Land, while not having the most content, has a sizable expansion while also heavily upgrading the game. While Forgotten Land was already a good looking game, the 4K support really improves this game's look. On top of that, 60 frame support was really amazing for this game. However, the main content is great. We get a cool story expansion with 12 brand new levels, a new boss fight, and a new cup in the Colosseum. And while that isn't too much content, it makes up for it because these levels are all some of the best in the game, along with the boss fight also being one of the most fun in the game as well. There are also new mouthful modes, adding to the great level design. This was just a really good expansion that added even more great content to an already great game, while improving the performance and visuals. So that's my ranking. Sadly, going through all of these games just made me realize how many of these Switch 2 editions suck. However, there are a few diamonds in the rough, and I hope they can make the next few Switch 2 editions actually good. However, that's all from me. Peace.